cross-examination of Mr. Matlou continued today, starting with Mr. Thulani Ngomezulu, who dealt with the fact that Mr. Matlou could not testify with certainty that Muzi Sibiya was in Gauteng from July to September. Remember, Muzi wrote his first learner's exam on the 22nd of July, which he failed. And according to Mr. Matlou, he made another appointment immediately and came to write again on the 15th of September 2014. Now, Ngomezulu says, no, that does not automatically mean he was in Gauteng all along. Now, for proper context on this one, let's remind ourselves what the state case is. Initially, Muzi, through Sipora Mosepele, said between 2013 and 2015, he was not in Gauteng because he did not have a job. So the moment his job stopped in 2013, the moment he was out of employment in 2013, he moved back home and only came back to GP in 2015. That was a clear, unambiguous version. Now the state came and said, no, but on the 22nd of July 2014, you were in Gauteng writing a learners, which you failed. And on the same day, you made another appointment after you failed, and you came back in Boksburg to write again on the 15th of September, and you passed. Now Ngomezulu says, no, on the 22nd of July, he was coming from KwaNongoma to come and write, and immediately after failing, he went back to KwaNongoma and came back again on the 15th of September to come and write, and after he passed, he went back to KwaNongoma. So that is the version. Obviously, Mr. Matlou could not dispute that. So we will see whether the judge believes that version by Muzi, who lied initially, saying he was never in Gauteng. So we'll see if the judge will accept that. And then there was also an issue of the address. When he booked, he provided his permanent residential address as Soto Hostel in Vosloorus. Now Ngomezulu says, no, the mere fact that he provided that address does not necessarily mean that's his permanent address. But Matlou said, the law says you have to provide your permanent residential address, and that's the address that he provided, meaning he was permanently residing in Vosloorus in Gauteng. So that's basically what Ngomezulu dealt with. Nothing much. It was not a long cross-examination for all these lawyers. And then we moved to Ramosepele, who also followed the same trajectory that Ngomezulu followed, that Matlou cannot testify with certainty that Muzi was around on those 2 dates, or in between the 2 dates that he was writing his learners. He also insisted that Matlou cannot testify that or cannot testify about Muzi's whereabouts on the 26th of October, the day of the crime. Obviously, Matlou had to concede on that he cannot testify about that. And Ramosepele also touched on the issue of the address, that the issue of the address that was given by Muzi on the 22nd, on the 17th of July and 22nd of July, when he made an appointment and wrote his learners respectively. if he didn't come back to change that address would still remain on the system. The only way for people to know that that address has changed, it's when he comes back. But if he leaves Gauteng and go back to KwaNongoma without changing the address will still reflect as Soto Hostel, even though he's not staying at the hostel. So I don't think Matlou had much to say. And then Ramosepele concluded his cross-examination. And then Ngumalo as well touched on a few things. One of the most important things that Ngumalo dealt with was the infringement notice that was issued against accused number 4 and the change of address that happened in KwaNongoma on accused number 4's profile. Ngumalo argued that on the 13th of Feb 2015, accused number 4 could have not made any changes on the notice system because he was already arrested on the 27th of November 2014. So anything that says he was in KwaNongoma on the 13th of Feb 2015, it cannot be true. Even the notice or the infringement notice or the traffic fine that he received on the 1st of December 2015 cannot be true because he was in jail. Now, on this one, Mr. Matlou insisted that it is possible that he couldn't have been there when the infringement of the 1st of December was issued because that was a ticket for wrongful parking. It's those tickets that you find on your windscreen, traffic officers writing them. They don't give them to you personally, not necessarily like that. So he clarified that it could have been that situation where he was not there. The ticket was against the car, not the person, not the individual. And then on the issue of the 13th of Feb 2015, Mr. Matlou said it may be possible, even though he didn't say it in as many ways, but the interpretation of his response is that it may be possible that it was not him who made those changes, because that's the question that was put to him by Ngumalo. And Matlou's response was that if it was not him, then there will be a need for an investigation to establish who made changes on his behalf. So I think Ngumalo could have made some progress on those two issues, but I think they were left unclosed because there was no certain answer. And then we had Mshololo, who also dealt with the case of accused number 5, but the long and short of Mshololo's defense was that there was no infringement notice, there was no traffic fine issued against the white Polo on the 26th of October 2014. There was no infringement issued against the Nissan Almera on the 26th of October 2014. No infringement against the Grey Polo on the 26th of October. And apparently accused number 5 will come and say that Polo, that Grey Polo, he only hired it for 2 days in 2016, not 2014. And it was clear that Mshololo and his clients, they are making this version because they believe there's no evidence to prove that that vehicle was hired again in 2014. So they are making a bold statement there with a belief that there's no evidence to point to that vehicle being hired in 2014. But what is interesting about Mshololo and his client, they are not disputing all the traffic fines that were issued. They are not disputing the number, unlike accused number 4, who was disputing the number, the 078 number. He disputed that that's his number. He never used that number. That number belonged to Thabane Madladla. So unlike this one's Mshololo and his client, they are not disputing that number. They are not disputing the traffic fines that were issued on the road and wherever, but they are saying they never happened on the 26th of October 2014. So we will see if Baloyi and Gininda will take that lying. But chances are that there will be evidence coming to prove that that car was rented in 2014. But we will see. That's just speculation on my side. And then after all the cross-examinations were done, there were discussions about recalling of Lieutenant Colonel Chris Mangena for his cross-examination. Ngomezulu needed some time to study the records, so the court adjourned to the 15th of April. The primary purpose for that was to allow Mr. Ngomezulu to go and study Mangena's records, to go and study Warrant Officer Ruluf's records, also Captain Mchali's testimonies, so that they can be ready to cross-examine Lieutenant Colonel Mangena come the 15th. But it looks like the defense have not concluded their consultations with their experts. It looks like there's issues with funds. Ramosepele placed it on record, at least today, that there are problems with funds for paying their ballistic expert who's supposed to assist them to challenge Mangena's evidence. So we don't know if that expert will be able to help them further. It looks like there's no money, but apparently money was raised previously. We don't know where that money went. But yeah, there are money issues. There are money issues according to Ramosepele, but they still intend on consulting with that expert. But here's an interesting thing. This thing of the ballistic experts for the defense has been pursued by Ramosepele on behalf of accused number 1 and 2, now currently on behalf of accused number 2. But the legal representative for accused number 3, who is mostly affected by that testimony, is not saying anything. He's not committing himself to anything. In actual fact, he wanted this matter to proceed even during recess. That's Advocate Charles Mnisi. Advocate Mnisi has not committed himself, maybe not in public. We don't know what they discuss in private, but publicly in court. He wanted this matter to continue as early as tomorrow, going through recess. Now, that begs the question, if Mnisi is not really committed to the issue of the ballistic experts, what does Ramosepele and others intend to really achieve? What are they intending to gain out of this? Because his clients, his previous clients and his current client are not affected by this. The person who's mostly affected does not seem to be showing interest. So again, maybe we don't know. Maybe there are discussions behind closed doors that we are not privy to, that informs Ramosepele's commitment. We never know. But hopefully, come the 15th of April 2024, Colonel Mangena will be back on the witness stand to face cross-examination. Hopefully there won't be any request for further adjournment to consult with the ballistic expert. And we know again that after Mangena, Baloyi still intend calling Lieutenant Colonel Sereo. That's the guy who signed off on Mangena's findings over and above other colleagues who confirmed those findings. So we will see when the matter resumes on the 15th of April. So yeah, on that note, guys, that's basically what transpired. It's possible I could have missed certain things. Please, if you think there are certain things that I missed or I did not say in the manner in which they were said, feel free to come and make additions or subtractions or disagree with my summary or analysis thereof. And remember, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, guys. There's nothing wrong with arguing as long as we do that with respect to one another. Don't tackle the man, tackle the issue. Don't come here to try and expose us. You will not win. We can guarantee you that. If your objective is to come here to expose us, you will not succeed. We did not fall out of our beds and started doing TikTok content. We know what we are talking about, but yes, there may be instances where we get things wrong and we can persuade each other on that score. On that note, guys, you can start requesting to come and share your views. Thank you for 70,000 likes. And let's quickly check our gifters. Mpo, Babo, Tesh, Pumza, Jama, Tulani, Tistes, Refrigeration, and Lado Tole. Thank you, guys. Thank you for those gifts. Thank you, Sanel MCB. Thank you. Let me check who's here. Thank you, Tabza. Brenda Fancy Abrahams. Hello, Brenda.
Hi, Brady. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
No, I'm well. Good evening, everyone. Braden, this case, obviously Muzi lied, Braden, and I'm also wondering, why would Muzi travel from KwaZulu-Natal to Joburg for Elena's?
Just for one day and go back, same day.
Just for one day, yes, and go back and come back again to make another booking, Braden. And remember, Braden, Senzo died in October.
Yes.
And Muzi came on the 15th of September in 2014.
Yes.
Now, Muzi made a confession last Bradeni, where he confessed that after he went to Joburg, when he was called to kill someone, they first went to the hostel. Then they drove to Fosloras, if you still remember that.
Yes.
And Zungu as well has made a statement to say, but I was with these guys on the night of the census made, which was in October.
Yes.
Now, if we still remember was it Stain? There was, is it Colonel Stain?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Colonel Stain. Colonel Stain, Braden, spoke of numbers. And those numbers, they are the same as those numbers that these people registered for their licenses and registrations of their cars, Braden. Now, it makes sense as to this Muzi on the 15th of September, a month prior, he was in Joburg. Then Senzo died, Braden, in October. And Zungu has made that statement that, no, I saw these guys on that night, as well as Muzi confessing. These dots, Braden, are really connecting. Really, really connecting. And you know, Braden, I don't know if it was Shololo who asked, how did can Matlou maybe know as to the whereabouts of the accused? For me, I didn't understand that question because How would he know, Braden? He only knows that they made those bookings on those dates. But as far as where they went and all that, to me, didn't make sense. How would the guy know? And as well as you, Braden, saying that the boldness of Msholol,
Yes.
talking about where people rent cars. I mean, every company that people rent cars at, Braden, has details, has all the info.
Yes.
And those people, if those people are called, they're just going to tell the truth that no, it wasn't only 2 days. So I don't know, Braden. I just feel that the questions really, to me, those questions really were, I don't know, were very weak. Were very weak. Thank you, Anna Braden.
Thank you, Brenda. No, they tried. I think all that we can say is that they tried, but they're still gonna get a shock of their lives because Baloy has already indicated that there's tons and tons of information, some of which it was not included on the docket because they never thought those things will be disputed. But as and when the trial continues and those things are disputed, that evidence will come out. So their confidence is very much applauded, but it may not last for too long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brother New saying Patricia's are taking me an official.
That is true crime trials.
Oh, yeah, no. They must not worry, Brother. I'm also a target.
Yes.
I was told I'm Kelly Kumalo's niece, and I made a video. I'm still waiting for that video.
Yeah, but these people cannot roam around social media and start intimidating people. I mean, they are not talking to small boys here, as much as small boys and small girls. As much as they think they are big, they can make people trend. They must also understand that, like I said, we did not come here by mistake. So they can't be roaming around social media, intimidating people that they will make them famous. I mean, we can go after them as well.
Yeah.
On that same level. And in actual fact, I mean, some of these people really, they don't deserve our energies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you know what I say, Braden? I'm just saying, with me, it's quite good for me because then she will have to prove that she's not lying. She's been telling the truth all along because
Yes.
she must provide that video. I want to see myself saying I'm a niece. So the fans must just, they must just make her find that video so that she can prove herself that she's not lying.
Yes.
And she hasn't been lying.
No, they are lying, these people, and they cannot come and try and intimidate us when we tell them that they are lying. And if they want to challenge us, they must come. We are ready for them.
Yeah, no.
We don't shy away from challenge. We don't shy away from being attacked. We've been attacked from day one since we started, and we've never shied away. We've never chased anybody from anybody who challenged us or who disagreed with us. So they mustn't come and intimidate us here. It's not gonna work. Okay, let me see who is here. Let me see. And thank you guys for those likes. I see we are about to hit 100,000 likes. And there we go. Thank you. Noctula. Malusi, please mute your microphone if you can hear me.
Good evening, Prateni and everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I have only two things I want to say.
Yes.
The first one is, don't underestimate Judge Ratta's laugh.
Yes.
when he laughs in court, I think he is slowly connecting the dots. He can clearly see that those guys are lying, and indeed they are lying.
Yes.
And also the questions that he likes to ask when they are done questioning the witnesses, I
Yes.
think he is also connecting the dots.
Yes.
That old man is wise, and people don't see that.
Yes.
Number two, I saw on Twitter, they posted a clip of accused number 4 when they said accused number 5 preferred to be addressed in English. He laughed before they could interpret.
Yes.
The judge did say that these guys understand English.
Yes.
And that proved that those guys do understand English. And I believe that Moses Sibia, when he wrote the letters, he wrote it in English. So in Facebook, they are busy manipulating people to pay for Mngomezulu. They're sending clips of him making videos that the account numbers is his. People will run dry with the lies. In the end, these 5 accused are guilty. The judge will say it, and people will cry for their money. Thank you, Pratin.
Thank you, Notula. Thank you. I agree with you 100%. Melusi, you can unmute your microphone, and good evening.
Yeah, sanibonani.
Hey, Tada.
Ambakahle.
Siyazama.
Ahamba.
Ngiyafila nami. Ngizoqala kusisi nokuthula. Isingisi ngiqalela esingisini. Isingisi uyakwazi ukusizwa kodwa angathi ungalalela mhlawumbe uchazeleke futhi ngelokhunjana ngesizulu. Bangas understand isilokhunjana ilento isingisi lapha ecourt kodwa bayafuna ukuchazeleka ngayo yonke indlela ngoba bakhuluma icala. Ngeke uze uthena ngicela hayi isingisi ngiyasazi kodwa kukhona ezinye indawo eziningi ezizokweqa like njengoba sikhuluma la akusho ukuthi angisizwa kancane isingisi. Bengisacela nje ukusho kuloko kuphela. Mina Bradeni angikho kakhulu kulabajida kakhulu yabo but kunezinye izinto engifuna mina ukuthola nje clarity kakhulukazi kwi state yabo. Umuzi uqambela amanga ecourt but kanjani aqamba amanga kodwa ukulokhunda ukuconfessa kwakhe wayikwenza freely. Okay, ngiyajabula futhi uma sekuza lelo khundana lo mjida lo umangena cause ngifuna nakhona ukuchazeleka kahle since ulokhundana rules wafike ecourt wathi ureceiveile inhlamvu ezazungakhiza u18 spam lesi sikhona manje lesi ekuthiwa sana accused number 3 kulela cala la se Cleveland klase correct Cleveland, yes. Then officer mangena yena wa receiver inhlamvu ezu16 kulesa spam lesiyana and the open bag it was open silly bag kanjani ukuthi lelo receive zivuliwe ekubeni na ubrigadier Gininda akasibhukelanga lesa spam la esibekwa khona wasinikezwe engasibhukelwanga. Uyamkhumbula owafike ezo testify ecourt ukuthi wasinikezwe uGininda without ilokhundane ukusibhukela. So lezo zinto lezo bengisacela nje ukuthi uchazeleka kuzona ukuthi since nenhlamvu eyatholeka kwisini yatholakala late and umusiya wathi yena ufike ngabo 7 kodwa uma sekufika wafike ngabo 10. So
Okay.
bese sacela ngichazeleka lapho ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Malusi. Okay, guys, for those who could not hear Malusi, firstly, he responded to Noktula regarding this guy's understanding English. He says, yes, they can understand English to a certain extent. Most of the things that are said in court, they need to be translated. Even if you understand English, your understanding of English can be limited to a certain extent. So it doesn't mean because they said they understand English at some stage, like accused number 5, they will understand everything that is being said in court, because some of the language that is being used in court is way too difficult for an average person. And then he also says he's not much into these 5 guys, but there are things that he doesn't understand, that he wants clarity on. He starts with Muzi. He says, how come Muzi confessed in his so sound and sober senses, freely and voluntarily, yet on the other side it is being said that he lied to the police. So I don't think we've got that answer why he did that. But what we know as a matter of fact, as it has been ruled by the court, indeed he confessed freely and voluntarily. And Gininda said in his confession, he tried to mislead the police on certain details. The police went to investigate some of the things that he said, and they turned out negative. Muzi deliberately told the police that the people who entered the house was Marco Buteles, knowing very well that Marco is dead. The police cannot go and ask him. And then he mentioned the second guy, Makimbi, probably knowing very well that Makimbi was in jail at that time. So already we know his confessions were not forced, and that's why he was even able to lie, because he was free. And then he also asked about the gun that Mangena picked. He says Gininda went to collect the gun without booking for it, but I don't think that is accurate, because we know Gininda spoke to Mangena about the gun, to say, Mangena, there is a gun at Cleveland police station. Can you please go and actually, it was not even Gininda, if my memory serves me well. Gininda tried to compare, Mangena, my apologies. Mangena started by trying to compare the results that were done by Warrant Officer Rolufse to the evidence, the exhibits that were picked on the crime scene by Sergeant Musia. And when he did that, I think he could see the class characteristics. And it was at that point that he realized, okay, there's class characteristics, but there's no individual markings. That's when he decided to go and collect that gun from Cleveland police station. Now, he went to pick up that gun, he went to conduct his tests, and when he finished, he went back with Gininda to go and return the gun. When they got there, the testimony is that Mangena booked that gun back because he took it. He was the one who booked it out in the first place. So he had to go and book it back. Immediately after he booked it back, Gininda booked it out as the investigating officer. He said, I want to take custody of this gun as the IO, which he was entitled to. So he booked it out right there in front of Captain Mjali. And he handed it over to Mangena for safekeeping, because in his office he didn't have a proper safe. So that is the testimony. And Melusi also talks about the number of bullets that Rulufse booked back, which is 18, and Mangena said he got 16. I think Mangena will answer that question when he returns. I don't think there's an issue there. We already have clarity from listening to his testimony. I think there is an answer to that, but I'll wait for him to come in and clarify that, because previously I said Mangena did not receive an open seal bag, and he came and said, no, it was opened. So this time I'm not going to commit myself to the answer of 16 versus 18, but I think there is an answer. And then he also talks about, that is Melus, he also talks about the fact that those exhibits that Musia found were found late. So he's trying to link that with the number of bullets that Rulufse filed and Mangena filed. So I think all those issues, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena will clarify them when he returns on the 15th. Already we know Mshololo has asked the issue of 16 versus 18. She put that question to Warrant Officer Rulufse, but the main man will come and clarify that. So we shall see. So I think, yeah, that's the summary of what Melusi was saying, guys. Official Minister, good evening, my brother.
Good evening to everyone else. Brenda, see, we've got Simpiwe and a user. Something. I'm at 342. Bradeni, there's something very important I want to address.
Yes.
Those who are not on mute, they can be on mute, so that I'm not disturbed. User, we've got the
User, you had the captain.
State of Nation address. Can you mute? Thank you, user. Pradeni.
Yes.
Every weekend, unprovoked, we hear stories.
Yes.
I don't know, because we have been saying this for the past few weeks, that every weekend we get approached unprovoked, Pradeni.
Yes.
And we don't keep quiet. We address such issues. So allow me, Pradeni, over the weekend when we were faced with the same insinuations that Makubo tried to push in court, that there is nothing like a cold case unit. And there is something that is, a case can only be called, it is filed and closed. Baloy asked Makubo, where do you get that? Trying to get the supporting documents, Makubo said, this is what I know. But then it happened over the weekend that the same narrative went on, Brady. I said, I'm going to tackle it head on. What did I do, my brother? I outlined the definition of a cold case as discussed in the literature. Guys, let's be clear. This is not discussed in some Google. As discussed in literature has got many databases. As discussed in the literature, Bradin, and those who attended the Cold Case Review Conference, which is an international conference, they will also acknowledge this definition because it was also unpacked in that conference. And in this conference, Bradin, you've got experts all over the world.
Yes.
Not some people who claim to know this thing. We are talking about experts, professors amongst them, seasoned police officers. They agreed on this definition. Those present at that conference, Pradeni, will recall that it defines a cold case as one that remains unsolved for 2 years or more years. It acknowledges that practices may vary among agencies, but what is common is that it gets reviewed every 2-year cycle, depending on the progress that is not made. And if there is no progress, then it's clearly a cold case. What is universally agreed, Pradeni, is that this definition doesn't imply that a case has to be filed or closed. That is universally agreed. This viewpoint, Pradeni, is supported by experts within our own country who argued that the failure to generate leads within 78 hours, I think, to 72 hours, makes arrest within that same time frame significantly reduced. It reduces the likelihood of solving that case. That is why you hear police saying we must make arrest within 48 or 72 hours. Through this literature findings, Pradeni, not some Google research, experts in South Africa, through this definition, because some of them were in that conference, Cold Case Review Conference, CCRC in short, those who were there, they classified the Senzo Meyiwa case as a cold case as early as 2017, even before the South African Police Service officially recognized it as such. The experts in our country, they told the nation that this is a cold case unit. When Khetla Sithole later classified case 363 of 10/2014 as a cold case in late 2018, some of us who are scholars, we already knew that this case has been classified 2 years back in 2017 as a cold case unit according to the literature. So Khetla Sithole implemented the cold case strategy, and it was evident by that time that this is in alignment with the literature. Sithole went to Parliament to inform them and went as of this strategic direction of deciding to adopt the cold case strategy in his department. And he also announced that through the annual report that they are going to adopt this to solve so many crimes across the country. And in so many media briefing, he stated that they are going to use this Senzo Meyiwa case as such. And he clearly stated that he will start by putting these cold case units provincially. And it was later when he appointed Brigadier Bongani Gininda as the head of the National Cold Case Unit. Remember, brethren, when we put this in the discussion platform, we are not swearing to anyone. We are not insulting anyone. All what we do is we pull evidence and we put it there. Now, it was surprising to hear individuals, Pradeni, claim that this doesn't exist even after we have submitted this particular evidence. Instead of engaging us, Pradeni, or disproving our claim, we are being threatened. We are being threatened that we don't know who they are. I mean, who said we want to know who they are? Because what we are interested in is their arguments. What kind of a society are we living in that cannot tolerate being challenged or discussions? When they realized that their narrative was faltering, Pradeni, they concede, or they consider that the cold case unit indeed exists. However, they are red herring now. Remember, initially they said it doesn't exist. Now they acknowledge that it exists. However, they are attempt to divert our attention through red herring strategy by claiming that, in fact, it was created by a corrupt police commissioner who lacked proper qualification, who couldn't even do a diploma in policing. We don't care whether he completed his diploma in policing. What we argued was this exists, and you said it doesn't exist. But now you are telling us that it does exist. In fact, the person who appointed it knew nothing about the cold case unit. What is that? Our stance is supported by experts, both nationally and internationally, as well as academic literature we have shared, Brother. The question remains, what evidence support your arguments than threats? Nothing. And we will never stop. We will challenge it. Whether they are threats or not, this is South Africa. We can say whatever we want as long as we don't offend or insult anyone. We can challenge every argument. We can argue. Let's submit arguments and let's let arguments to wrestle. I'll leave it here, Bradeni. But my argument is supported by literature and experts within the country and outside of this country. I pose the challenge. If you have got any other different view, put it on the table and let's interrogate it. I mean, part of the research, when they teach us research at school, they say interrogate the literature and go and collect empirical evidence and analyze it and argue a point, not to threaten people. I rest on this particular point, Bradeni. I move now into what was discussed in court. The defense never learned, Bradeni.
Yes.
They commit themselves very early. You see, today they made commitments. They made commitments about hiring of cars and all that instead of saying witness will come here and dispute that. They are making commitments. They never learn. They made a commitment that Muzi, this is very interesting, Bradeni. This is what they said when they put to Zoom. Muzi will state that in 2013 until March 2013, he was staying in Fort Loras at Basotho section, but after he lost his job in 2013, he never returned. Bradeni, what is it that we don't understand? He never returned, this guy, to Johannesburg. Up until when? 2015, when he came to Tembisa to stay with his uncle.
Yes.
But today we heard through Ramasepele, they are now tailoring their version. They are saying Muzi came, booked for the license, went back home, came and wrote an exam, went back home, came and wrote. Guys, is that not returning to Johannesburg? We are waiting for them because we know they are going to argue that the return will even mean he never came to Johannesburg. We mean he never returned to stay. We are going to laugh. And judge is going to challenge them with that conflicting version to say, I want the defense to address me on this. They will never address him because he requested that in a trial within a trial about Mboto. He was assaulted in front of Mboto. The assault stopped as Mboto came. They never answered that particular question, or they never assisted the court. We are waiting to hear what they are going to argue on this particular point because Baloyi is going to feast on them. So I don't think there was much that happened today, but you don't cross-examine the expert if you know nothing about what they are saying, because the expert talk about a query. A query in application and database application, Bradeni, is a code that you run to ask the database how the data looks like. But today, with a lack of knowledge, Ngumalo decided to cross-examine the expert witness, and he was like, what query? Where is the query? Who queried? Who has sent that query? I'm querying the database. This is this is the joke, Bradin. You don't cross-examine the expert if you don't have a clue.
Yes.
This guy was interrogating the database. I'm querying the database. Who sent the query? Where is that query? As if the query was sent by Kininda or somebody as a letter.
Yes.
I mean, these guys, they just expose themselves with, especially with regards to what they have done with examining Rolufse. But then, why is it Ramusepele who is concerned about the ballistic report and not Munisi? We ask. I think my friend Munisi has thrown the towel, and he said if it was not of Mgomezulu, they will continue. Which means those consultations they are talking about is not interested in them. He wants to go and cook. He wants to get this case finished. It's just that Mgomezulu said he wanted to go through the evidence. Where is Muthusi? Remember, Braveni, I said people are going to say we are prophets and we are not prophets. I told Muthusi that Mgomezulu is going to say, I was not part of the trial.
Yes.
I need to go through the evidence. And he attempted to go to say he want to go through the evidence since the trial started, but the judge was like, no, let's focus on the expert. Tailor it for the expert. And I told Muthusi that Mgomezulu is going to say, I need to go through that. And my friend said, no, he won't say that. He said, I'm ready to run. He tried to pull that trick, my friend. Come here and help us. Is it ethical? Do they still teach ethics at university? Is it ethical when you come here, my friend, touch on that point and also touch on the point that is it ethical for an officer of the court to go on social media and ask for donation and parade bank accounts there? We are not saying Mgomezulu must not be paid. He must be paid, guys. They must just collect the money and take it to Mgomezulu. But he is now on a social media saying, this is my account, deposit the money there. Muthusi, my friend, those are my two questions. Come and help us if that is ethical. We ask the question, do they still teach the ethics? If yes, is that ethical? Brother, I'm closing now. Move. My friend asked a question to say, why did Muzi lie? We don't know why he lied, but we can tell you the series of events. Move on the 27th of October said, Leli qala lilandela wonke umuntu. That's Move. And I'll tell you why he said so. He said, Kininda followed Makimba. After he established that Makimba was arrested in 2014, wam release what Makimba you were arrested. So, why does this case follow everyone? So, what Mngube was not privy of is Ube Akonyuluka telling us that Makimba was investigated. And he mentioned the date, June. Around that June, it is around the same time that Muzi made the confession. So that guy was confirming prior to say, Muzi's confession was followed. And not only that, even Ntuli said, Lo baba lo, wa Matlou lo, uzile la ngihlala khona uqala kakusha, uzile lo baba lo, isigebengu lo. Wafihla wathatha ubuthelezi, wathi ubuthelezi uyathinteka kuleli qala. Yes, he came and fetched Vitelezi as part of investigation. Yes. To say Vitelezi is implicated in this case according to Muzi's confession.
Yes.
And we hear it from Ntuli, accused number 5, that no, what they tell Vitelezi? What release Vitelezi? He had to release Vitelezi because there was no evidence implicating him. Thank you for saying that, Ntuli. And then he came to us. Definitely he came to you because Ntanzi mentioned you. And did you think he's going to release you? He was going to release you. There was no evidence backing that. But unfortunately, Mr. Nduli, there is an evidence that hates you. So that is why he never released you. Simple as that. Now, Mangena booked the gun himself. He never got it from from Kininda. He went there. Now, there is nothing wrong of finding a bullet 2 days later. Even after 100 years, if you find that bullet, there is nothing wrong. The question we'll ask is, why those who investigated, they never found it? There is nothing wrong about that. That's why investigators and forensic investigators, they go back to the crime scene afterwards. Pradeni, this case of an open seal bag is tired now. Guys, why do we seal evidence? We seal evidence so that we can make sure that it's never tampered with. But in this case, we have got points of reconciliation. We can argue that this gun is the same gun that Roloff tested. Why? Because of the projectiles. And not only that, because of signature on the trigger. Not only that, you can go and do etching again. It will tell you what is that serial number. Not only that, you can go and check the cartridges, how they are marked. That will tell you, because, Bradeni, a cartridge is marked 4 times by the gun. By the pin when it hits the back of the bullet to ignite the power. And at the back, when the bullet goes back and is blocked by that base, I forget what they use it, they call it, I wish Tabang was here. Because the bullet, as it goes out, the cartridge goes back, and as it goes back, there is a bridge that blocks it, that leaves a mark. And as well as when the bullet is going to be chucked out by that string, it also leaves a mark. So there are many marks that are left by the bullet. Even when it is pulled back, it leaves a mark. So there are 4 marks that are left there, which are unique for every firearm. So if we can prove that all those things reconcile with the gun that Mangena got, then this is the same gun that was found in accused number 4. Then there is no issue. But the thing is, the seal bag, the reason it is there, it is because at that point in time, you don't have any reference point, Pradeni. And it can be tampered with. But here we have got the reference point. There is nothing. That is why Munisi considered that I don't dispute that this gun is the same gun that was found in the hands of these accused. But what we are disputing that they might have tampered with the barrel. And that was a lack of knowledge, Pradeni, because the lack of knowledge says they are now wanting to say the barrel has changed, but the barrel cannot be changed because the grooves within that barrel are the same grooves that were that marked the projectile that was shot by Roloff. Says the same grooves that are found on the projectiles that was shot by Mangena. Case closed. It is finito. The issue of open bag, you can discuss it over weekends after you have what Pradeni was talking about the other day, the discussion with somebody else who's close to you. But it is closed. It is not in dispute. And the expert is going to come if they find money, because it is said that they shouted. And today we knew, Pradeni, somebody came here, engineer, and said, official, there is no money. Hey, engineer, my friend, I salute you. Today we were told that there are challenges with money. Thank you. You are a reliable source, my friend. Engineer, they don't call you engineer for nothing. Pradeni, those hands, give them to engineer. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and thank you, engineer. This one is for you. Busi M, please mute your microphone if you can hear us. Busi, if you can hear us, please mute your microphone. Okay.
I don't think yes, Pradeni.
Yeah, we can remove her. Now, official minister, let's deal with these people who go around social media peddling lies, peddling misinformation. And the next thing, they want to come and intimidate us. That's not going to happen. We've said this many times, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again. We did not fall off our beds one morning and started doing social media content. That's not the situation. If people are going to be going around social media like us, like we are doing, going around social media, creating content, we're putting ourselves out there to be challenged, but to be challenged intellectually. So people should not come around and lie, spread misinformation, and expect kisses from us. That's not going to happen. And you see, it gets worse when they start threatening with cyberbullying. That we will not tolerate. Because what probably they don't know is that there are legislations in South Africa against cyberbullying. You can't be going around threatening people with cyberbullying when you don't even know that there are legislations that can get you arrested. And we did not Google those legislations. We did not Google them. We did not learn about them on parliamentary annual reports. No, we know them because we wrote them. We were part of those legislations. The Films and Publications Act deal with cyberbullying. See this t-shirt that I'm wearing, FPB. This is the institution that drafted the Films and Publications Act. And most of its amendments, some of us were there, part of those amendments. So these are not things that we're learning about from Google. There's an act, the Harassment Act, Protection from Harassment, Act 17 of 2011. We participated in drafting those acts. You know, people hear us one day talk about being a shop steward, and they think, no, this guy, he was just a shop steward. He knows nothing about it. We drafted acts. So you cannot come on social media and scare us about cyberbullying. That will not succeed. And if you keep on coming with lies, we will expose you. Irrespective of who you are, you can be lawyers in court, you can be Ngomezulu, you can be Ramosepile, Mshololo, whoever, or you can be somebody on Facebook making noise on Twitter. You can't scare us about cyberbullying. We're not small boys, like Julius usually say. We are not small boys. So people must be careful, official, when they come here and try and scare us and they think, no, we are the ones who sing Magwala Church. That is the song that we used to sing while I was at the trade unions, which most people remember that, no, this guy said he was a shop steward. So people should not come and threaten us and think that they will scare us. No, it's not going to happen. And every time they lie, official minister, we will go after them, bless her. Every time they lie, we will go after them without any fear or favor. None whatsoever. There are people that we can fear. Not some of these people that think they are scary. No, they are not. So, as we close the State of the Nation address, official minister.
Yeah, and from what you are saying, Pradhan, one other thing we do, we don't just hallucinate. We learn, Pradhan, every time.
Yes.
For an example, I told you about ballistics.
Yes.
I'm currently learning ballistics, Pradhan.
Yes.
For an example, the 4 parts that I was talking about, you see, at the base of the bullet, Pradhan, there is a firing pin. That firing pin goes inside there's a bit of a point around nyana at the back of the bullet. That's where the firing pin hit to ignite the gas inside. That's what Manyana told us. Now, after it hits that, it leaves a mark. That's mark number 1. Now, the bullet is gonna go to the breech face, and because the projectile goes out, the bullet goes back. And if there is no breech face, that bullet can come back and hit the person who's pulling the trigger. The breech face protects you against. Can come back and hit the person who's pulling the trigger. That a cartridge. So now, when it hits, you see now. Now, when it hits the breech face, Braden, it leaves a mark number 2, and that mark is very unique as well. And then it goes. There is what is called the extractor. The extractor must pull the bullet back, that cartridge back. As it pulls it back, it leaves a mark there. That is the extractor now. Now, as it is going, the ejector will be normally on the left-hand side, so that when that cartridge hits the ejector, it will tilt and go outside. And as it hits that, it tilts, it goes out. Now, there are 4 marks left on that particular thing. Now, when they test this thing, Botabang, they do use a microscope to look at those marks microscopically, because they may be the same with a naked eye. They use that microscopic devices to compare all of these marks, and if they are from the same gun, all those marks, they are the same. Simple as that, you see. And somebody will come tomorrow and say, oh, you talk about gun as if you are a ballistic expert. Yes, I'm not ignorant. I learn. I've got friends who are ballistic experts. I also do research on my own. I study. There are materials all over. There is literature. And then within the barrel, there are grooves. Those grooves, we are told when we study these ballistics that these grooves, they perfect the precision as the bullet is going to go out. Because if those grooves are not there, the bullet might lose its precision as it goes out. But now the people who made the guns, they made those grooves so that they are unique for every other bullet, because as the bullet projectile scratches through the barrel, it leaves unique marks. Those are the fingerprints. So both the bullet and the cartridge, they will give you the same marks, different marks. But if they are from the same bullet, they will then tell you a consistent picture to say this is fired from the same bullet. So from that perspective, it is with that reason that in IBs, they take the pictures, all those 4 points that were marked by that on that particular cartridge. They upload them in IBs, and as they search through the fuzzy lookup, they can compare those things provincially, regionally, or even the whole country. You can even go globally if you've got that particular access. If the guns that are used there, you want to compare with that. And what were we told in court? We were told in court that if you run that test from IBs and you find that there might be similarities, it's not the end of the story. You still have to go and collect those things and compare them manually. That is why Mangena used Serrero, Rulufse, and himself to compare those things, because you need to be certain. So that is ballistics in short, Brateni. And we learn all the time. We are not ignorant. Thank you.
And we are ready to be challenged. If anybody if anybody thinks we're not sure of what we're talking about, they are more than welcome. We're not here to take chances. Thank you, Official Minister. And we learn from the best of the best. our ballistic experts, Pastor Thaba Mavunga. So we've got proper references. If you want to challenge us, come with your expert. Baloi came with Mangena. Ramosepeli is coming with De Klerk. We coming with Thaba Mavunga. So anybody who wants to come and challenge us must come with their own ballistic experts. We not chancers here. Mulatelo, good evening.
Good evening, Danny. Official Sisi Brenda, me too,
Evening.
and everyone in the comments section. You guys, you're raising valid points when it comes to expertise. And if you're an expert in something, it doesn't necessarily mean people can't learn from you, or there aren't things there for people to learn. For example, I think Stein is my field. That Stein guy, I would say, when he testified in court, I followed everything. I understood everything, all the details. So when it comes to cell phones, positioning everywhere, anything telecommunications. But I'm not going there. But the reason I'm mentioning Stein is because something the judge said last week. He said to the defense team, Akira, you guys deny everything, because now we are asking ourselves why Matlou was called. The judge said, Akira, you guys are denying everything. Why? It's going to haunt the defense again. If you look at the ruling from trial within a trial, the judge didn't waste time in saying they were made freely and voluntarily. I heard our guy there saying, why did they lie if they were made freely and voluntarily? But we are not there. The judge was not looking for the truth, whether they were lying, whether they were telling the truth, but he was just checking whether they were made freely and voluntarily.
Yes.
So now that I put pieces, let me combine. What I'm saying is that I think during the trial within a trial, I also said that what the judge ought to get was whether Sivia spoke to Mboto. If there's any little thing that proves that they spoke, that's it. If there's anything that suggests that they spoke to Rapadu and Magistrate, that's it. So now, the issue of Natis, there's something, Stein laid things bare to say, these are the numbers. But now, anything that would link the number to one of the accused or to the accused, the judge would take. Because if the defense want to dispute those numbers, they would have to bring forward evidence to say, this SIM card was used by so-and-so. Here's the evidence. It was recorded by so-and-so before this guy used it. So they have to bring evidence to dispute what was laid by Mr. Matlou. But all I can say is that the judge has already gotten the idea that, not even gotten the idea, the judge has got it that Muzi was in Johannesburg between that 2013 and 2015. They can tailor all they want, but the judge has got what he wanted. Because the judge said, I agree, you guys, you are disputing everything. The judge would have understood if they said, Muzi was in Johannesburg, but he didn't commit this crime. But now you are saying he was not in Johannesburg. And the judge knows that if they are saying this, the state has to do something to rebut. But now, the state has rebutted Muzi's version. It's for the defense now to come and produce evidence. But I can tell you, with the rate that they are going, the defense is not going to bring anything forward. They are just going to allow the state to run his case, tailor where they can, and then leave it to the judge. But as it stands, I don't see it going their way. The judge is looking for simple technicalities. And I can tell you, even people that are abusing you and official Denny, I wish they just pay attention to minor details. There are minor details that are out there that they are not following. And when I was listening to Matlou, he reminded me of the guy from Rustenburg, the doctor, the dentist. They are the same. They articulate. They focus on their field. They know what they are doing. But you remember when they were questioning that Rustenburg guy, they tried the same tricks of trying to challenge the expert in his own field to say, hey, what is comprehensive medical check? What is this? Today okay, Numalo, but I understand Numalo had to do something. He had to show that he's also in the case. But as it stands, Danny, Mr. Matlou's purpose has been served. He had to come and prove that the numbers belong to a certain guy or certain guys, and also to prove that the 2013-2015 story doesn't exist. But I repeat, the judge said, Akere, you guys are disputing everything. I mean, you cannot just dispute everything. Some things you must concede that, well, he was in Johannesburg, but he didn't. But if they continue disputing everything, it will be their downfall. You can't dispute everything. Go back to them to trial within a trial. They disputed everything and it cost them. They disputed that the guy went to this place. It cost them. They disputed that Fortuna was used, double cap was everything, that they disputed everything. So they need to really regroup. I hope these 15 to 18 days that they're going to get, they will regroup and get advice even from other legal minds out there to come with a different approach. This thing of tailoring and disputing is not going to work. I end here, Danny. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me give it to others.
Thank you, Mulatelo. You may hope that they are regrouping, but they may not be regrouping when they are supposed to be studying the evidence. When the court grants them adjournments to go and study evidence, they might be out there going to restaurants, going to get massages, while Baloi is sitting in office, gathering evidence against the 5 guys. Those that have been granted adjournments to go and study the evidence, they might be out and about as we speak, having dinners, at weekends going to spas, so you never know. But thank you Mlatel. Okay, we had Bongs. I think she disappeared or he disappeared. Before we go to me too, thank you for the 300,000 likes, guys. Thank you. And let me quickly acknowledge our gifters. Let me see if I can get this list. This thing is distracting me. There we go. Tulani Shabangu. Thank you. Mpo. Thank you. Babo. Let me follow you back, Babo. Thank you. Guys, can we please check these gifters? But Babo, your account is on private. The Oracle, Sanel, MCB, Tesh, Nohulela, Atini, Gujiberi, Tabama Vunga, Pildam Togo, Unati, Tulane, Lado Tole, Kisto, and Tistes. Thank you guys for all those gifts. We really appreciate them. I think it's the same people on Brenda's list. Yeah, Mpotaba, Tulane, and Nahulela, they are there. On Official Minister, it's the same people. Thank you guys. Thank you. Me too. You can unmute your microphone, and good evening.
Good evening, Pradeni. I'm normally one of those people, the first 100 people to join the live, but today I was caught up somewhere. So what I'm going to say might be a repetition of what has been said already today, but I will apologize in advance.
No problem.
Pradeni, Mshololo didn't prepare for the cross-examination today. And she didn't listen to the recordings of the last sitting while she was not there.
Yes.
She didn't, because Baloyi made it clear the reason why he called the guy from the traffic department to support the evidence of Colonel Stein, you know? And some of the questions that she was asking were irrelevant to the case, to Senzo's case, okay? Instead of focusing on the cell phone number that is being attributed to accused 5, she's asking about license plates of the cars that the accused 5 was using. And that might get her client into trouble. Because where did the guy get the temporary permit that belongs to Volvo? Where did he get that? You know? And another one, Brade. So she was focusing, she wanted to distance the accused from the cars, but not the cell phone number. Because if she had listened to the last sitting's evidence, she would have heard Baloyi saying, we are corroborating the evidence of Colonel Stein.
Yes.
Which relates to cell phones.
Yes.
Now she goes into cars. This car, can you say it was owned by the accused? Is there somewhere? No. Because that's not what the guy was there to testify about.
Yes.
You know? And now, even that's why the judge was asking that guy from the road traffic department to say, do you know about cloning? What do you understand by that? The judge has been on the bench for long. He knows. These people, they go there, they rent cars, and then change their number plates. You know? And then use them in crime. And then return the cars. You know? And that was not what the guy was there to prove, to say, no, he owned this car. So Mshololo, like, I think she did her client dirty there, because she was supposed to focus on distancing that cell phone number from the accused. That's all. That's what the guy was there for. And accused number 4. You know, this who's this guy? He doesn't talk a lot, and you know, and I even forget that he's there. Ngumalo. There's something important that came out of that cross-examination by Ngumalo.
Yes.
The accused denies owning the number.
Yes.
Yes. But something is odd. He knows the owner of the number.
Mm.
He knows the owner. So does it mean when he went to the traffic department, he used his friend's number? Because he gave the name and the surname of the owner of that number. He said, no, it's not me. It's this guy, it's Danny Baloyi, who owns this number. So he knows the owner. So it means he went to the traffic department, he gave them a number that belonged to his friend. Because he knows that person. You know? And yeah, so I just found that very odd, Pradeni.
Yes.
These people are not, like, it's like, or maybe there's just too much evidence against their clients. And they don't know what to do. And they seem like they are not experienced advocates. I'm sorry to say that. But the way they are going about this, I don't know. Thanks, Pradeni.
Thank you, me too. Bonks 12, good evening.
Good evening, Bradeni, and good evening to Sis Brenda, Official, Motusi, and everyone on this live. I think the point that I just wanted some clarity on, it's something that Me Too just touched on now with regards to Unqumalo and the change of address and that cell phone number for accused number 4. I think there was something that Judge Rata mentioned with regards to cloning and with regards to registration plates. You know, people using false plates on cars and all of that. And the gentleman from Inati says he had never come across such. I'm not sure whether he just didn't want to expose a loophole in their system, in a sense. And it got me thinking, just to share a little bit of what happened to me with regards to that. I think this was about 10 years ago, around about December. I was chilling at home, and my then partner was outside, and he came into the house and said, "There's policemen looking for you." Mind you, I'm from hospital. I've got a 7-day-old baby. And then they said, "We are here to arrest you." And I said, "For what?" She says, "For vehicle theft." I said, "Vehicle theft?" They said, "Yes." And then they said, "We've been doing our investigation and it led us to you because this car now is registered under your name." I said, "That's not the case. I've been in hospital. When was this car stolen?" And it was registered in my maiden surname and not in my married surname. But what had happened was I had lost my ID, and the car that we were driving at the time when I lost my ID, we had sold it to a dealership in Chatsworth here in Durban. And it so happened that the alleged car that I had stolen was registered in Pietermaritzburg at a traffic department in Pietermaritzburg. I live in Durban. And they said to me, "But now we can hear your story," because I could see they could tell that there isn't really much to this. But they had said no, but now the car was found in Eshowe. So now I had to go to court on the Monday to Eshowe because they came to me over the weekend. And there I was formally charged. And then we went to court, but then he says, "No, I need to speak to the prosecutor." This was the investigating officer. He said, "No, I need to speak to the prosecutor." I'm not sure what he said to the prosecutor. And they said, "No, there's no case that you need to stand in for. You have to go back home." So when the judge asked that just got me thinking that if the details were changed and this guy is saying that it's his cell phone, he even said, the judge said, when a person is going to register a car, isn't there anything that you ask for? Like proof of a purchase, whether you bought it cash, whether you bought it on hire purchase terms or something. You can just go with documents and say, "This is my car." And I'm not sure that a clear answer was given by the Inatis gentleman in that case. So which is possible that accused number 4 could have sent someone to go and pay his ticket, and possibly that person gave their number. So I'm not sure what your take is on that, but that was just something that came up to mind, and I just thought maybe I should just ask. Yeah.
It is possible, Bongs, I agree with you. And one other possibility is that even when people do car sales, private car sales, and do change of ownerships, more often than not, the buyer and the seller, ideally the buyer and the seller should go to traffic department to do change of ownership, but sometimes people get lazy. I sell you, Bongs, a car, and I give you my ID. I got the cash that I needed. I just wanted, I wanted to get rid of that car. I got the money. I give you a copy of my ID. You go to the traffic department. You fill in the form as if I'm there. You make a payment, and they do the change of ownership. I don't know how strict they are, but I know a lot of people who have transacted like that. So that there are those exigencies, like Rata used to say, where somebody can go to the traffic department and transact on behalf of somebody who's not there. So it is possible, but yeah, like Me Too said, Ngumalo achieved something with the number for accused number 4. So we will see how the judge deals with that. Yeah, I see Jeff says they are not strict. Yes. France says it's 170 change of ownership. So people do go and transact at traffic department on other people's behalf in their absence. So it could be one of those instances. Now, it's a loophole that these guys are taking advantage of. But I don't think that will fly. Rata is too much experienced on these things. Mutusi.
Pradeni,
Sure.
just before Matuti, so that I don't interrupt him. I think what Matlou was saying there is, that's how I understood him. He was saying criminals or syndicates, normally they don't go out to create a registration number that doesn't exist.
Yes.
How I understood him is they, as part of cloning, they will take a registration number that exists,
yes,
and use it into another car. I'll give an example. We've got a Toyota Corolla that is white with a registration number XYZ. And then now, you know that XYZ belongs to a white Toyota Corolla. So they will put it on the Toyota Corolla that is white.
Yes.
But it is not of that vehicle. So they just interchange those registration number to similar cars. That's why Matlou said, when they give me that number, I will be able to find it on my system. I've never come across a situation where I punch in a registration number and it doesn't come out. It will always come out, but it may come up with a different car altogether, not the car that was used on that particular day. So that's how I understood his evidence. Because if the registration number is not there, even when you go through those traffic officers where it scans a registration number, you are more at risk, because if it doesn't pick it up, there are high chances that you will be stopped.
Which
I agree.
Which is exactly what happened to me way back in 2020 August, where I was taken for driving a Toyota Yaris, which was cloned. I had some nice lunchtime at the Waterfall Corner here in Midrand. When I was done approaching the car, it was surrounded by police and security. And that's the day I almost got arrested. Thank you to WhatsApp communications. I could easily prove that this is not my car, it's somebody else's. And that car was picked up by cameras in Waterfall. So that's exactly, I think, what you're talking about, Official Minister. Brenda, did you want to say something before we go to Mtusi?
Yeah, no, I was just saying also, Bradeni, that the same thing happened to me, but it was just that, like the official said, I had a smaller car, and the car that had the same number plate as mine was a bigger car. That's how I was saved, because I was getting tickets, for places I've never been. So I had to, write emails, even prove the model of my car. Only find that the one that was using the same number plates was a big car Fortuna. So that's how I was saved. So it does happen exactly like Official is saying, because we've got experiences like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Brenda. Mtusi, good evening, Abut.
Good evening to everyone. Dumela Mbagachu. It's been a while since I spoke.
Yes.
I had nothing to say really today, because there's not much in terms of the law that happened in the case itself.
Yes.
But there is something that happened that really bothered me when I woke up this morning. I'm not sure if these videos have been trending over the weekend or not, but I started seeing them from this morning. A gentleman wearing a striped white t-shirt, having a face that resembles exactly that of Mr. Ngomezulu, saying he is Tulani Ngomezulu, an attorney, and the details shown there and the accounts shown there belong to him.
That's exactly what official minister requested you to deal with.
Yes, I saw a Capitec bank account that is a personal bank account belonging or purporting to be the one that belongs to him. I didn't check to verify who is the owner of the accounts, both of them. And then there's another one of FNB, and that's the one that actually got me worried to say, how do you use a business account of a law firm that reckless? You just put it there and you say people should start giving money into that account. Guys, I want everybody who's here who is going to become a lawyer or who is already a lawyer to never be tempted to do this. Ours is a noble profession where we never get money for things we did not do. Just know this. We never get money for things we did not do. There is no attorney in this Republic of South Africa who can start eating money for the job they did not do. Because if they do that, then it means that they are stealing from someone. And if they are stealing from someone, then the Legal Practice Council will be on their case. Financial statements, audited financial statements get submitted of these attorneys. I know of a couple of attorneys who, I'm going to give you an example of how easy can an attorney lose their job. A client approaches an attorney. He has got 100,000 rands, and they want that 100,000 rand to be the one that is used for their case. Now, whenever they go to court, there will be a bill of costs in let's say in civil cases, because in criminal cases it's difficult. In criminal cases, it's a bit difficult to draft a bill of costs, but it is actually advised for an attorney to draft a bill of costs for everything. So you draft a bill of costs, you keep it in your file, then you transfer from the 100,000, you transfer only the amount that you are claiming as the amount that you used into your personal account, and then you can access that money. There's an attorney who lost, who got removed from the role, lost their right to practice because he is a conveyancer. There's transfer fees that were paid into his account and into their trust account. The transfer fees were paid into their trust account. Listen to this, guys. They're entitled to these fees. They will get the money as soon as the house has been transferred into the buyer's name. Then they are entitled to that money. Now, what this guy did, remember, it's his own, or it's his law firm's trust account. It's not his personal account. He moved the money from there into his personal account. The Legal Practice Council got to this guy this year, unfortunately, on the 14th of February 2024. That guy was removed from the role. Why? Because he accessed the money that he was not entitled to receive. Now, law firms must be registered as debt collectors for them to be able to receive money. And like I said, law firms receive money only on the work that they have done. So in a situation where you did not do any work, the money gets paid into a trust account. It's not your money. If a person pays 100,000, like the example that I have made, into your trust account, and you only use 15 rands from that 100,000, the rest of the money must go back into the account of the client, because that is not the money that you are entitled to. And if it happens that you charge more than what you were supposed to, and when you are asked to justify that you failed to do that, then the Legal Practice Council will take steps against you. Steps that include being suspended from the role, being removed from the role completely as a practitioner, being expected to apologize in public, such an embarrassing moment to any attorney. When it comes to money, you know, a lot of people get struck off the role because they took a very small amount of money more from their contingency fees. And you know that money comes because your client who has paid you from the contingency fee will then just say to you, no, my brother, thank you so much. I'm excited. You know, we sued the Minister of Police for unlawful arrest. Take more. Once you fall into that trap, you are like that police officer who went to a shop of a Bangladeshi and took a cold drink. Once there's a picture that shows that police officer taking a cold drink and leaving without paying for it, they will lose their job because they've contravened Section 10 of the Corruption Act. So be careful not to just take gifts from anyone, and it's wrong. You cannot be using social media as your way of looking for money from people. No matter how hungry you are, your day of getting money will come, and you nobody becomes a lawyer. Okay, now I'm going to say this. Nobody becomes a lawyer for the sake of being rich. If you want to be rich, then start doing something else, because law is not for the rich. You will not become rich by just being an attorney. Most of the rich attorneys that you know, you must know that they've got business outside. They've got business outside the law firms, and that is the only way in which they make money. Otherwise, the law firm itself, you can have 2 million rands into your account. If you don't do anything with that money, then hey, guys, your client is entitled to get the money back. You know, the attorneys that are paid on retainer, Bradin. What a retainer fee is that every month a particular client will be paying money into your trust account for rainy days in case they are arrested for anything. That money stays in a trust account. You can't touch it. You will look at it, it will look like R1 million. You will wish this guy comes into trouble just so that you can get access to that money somehow. If it happens that that guy says our retainer contract ends here and you did not do any work for them, that entire fee goes back to the client. Do not find yourself being tempted to say, hey, you cannot use me as a storeroom for free. I hope, official, that clarifies what I wanted, or
Yes.
what you actually wanted my comment on.
Thank you.
As to his Capitec account, which I also saw there, I don't know if individuals can write or go onto Facebook for no particular cause. Hello, my name is Mutusi, and this is my Capitec account number. You know, one day, I think it was Dineo Majila, I'm not sure, but somebody in this life one day asked me if I am using Capitec. And I said, yes, I am. And I said it immediately, but I am not allowed to get money from anyone. I did that because I wanted people to be aware that there is an employer who pays me. I am not allowed to take any amount of money, Bradini, that I get from anyone here. Actually, I must be able to clarify it one day when I'm asked to, why would Loved in France send you money? And if Loved in France does not confirm or corroborate my story, then I'm in trouble. Because then it would mean I was soliciting bribes from them.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions that I get from people who are in this life in the inbox. Some of them, you know, come with tempting offers, really tempting offers. Draft me these documents. Nobody, your employer does not need to know. Nobody needs to know. But as a lawyer, you need to know, guys, that I will not be able to go and represent you in court because that's not what I do for a living. I cannot draft your papers because that's not what I do for a living. I do not give legal advices because that is not what I do for a living. And if you are going to give me money for something that I did for you, then I'm going to have to declare that I have received money from you. And after declaring that I have received money from you, it's going to come with a lot of explanations. That's one of the reasons why I decided to remove my profile picture. Because I saw a picture of mine trending somewhere in social medias where people were saying things about the work that I do. So yeah, it's dangerous to be in the field that I am in. Left in France says Kisono guy, and I'm not picking on you, my love. I'm just using you as an example because you are a suitable example.
Thank you, Mutusi. And while you're still here, Mutusi, what you just said about finances, how lawyers should manage finances, the expectations, is precisely the reason why at the commencement of the trials, there's questions of financial instructions. Can you confirm financial instructions as an attorney, as counsel? That is precisely the same question that Advocate Josh Balloy asked when there was this switch and changes of lawyers. When Ngomezulu said he's now going to be full-time appearing for accused number 1, there was a question of financial instructions. And I think that what you just said now explains the need for all those questions.
You know, Bradeni, the question in a pre-trial conference, how it's asked, how it's framed, ne? They're not asking if your client paid you.
Yes.
They are saying that, do you have enough money to start and conclude this trial?
Yes.
Now, brilliant lawyers who are intelligent, they answer it to say, my lord or your worship or whatever, I've got enough money that will cover me for 10 days. If it goes beyond that, we're going to have a problem.
Yes.
And you know, most of the legal representative in this matter, although official didn't want to believe it in the beginning when I said it, I even had to come and agree with him somehow. Most of them are paid by legal aid. So the issue of fees is not really a problem because legal aid is there to cover for that. So it is very, you know, on pre-trial conferences, the question that they ask is, do you have enough money to cover for the trial? Now, when they talk about enough money, it's not the money that is in the personal bank account of the legal practitioner. It's the money that is kept in the trust account. At the end of every financial year, all attorneys are expected to subject their trust accounts to audit from the Legal Practice Council. The Legal Practice Council will know how much you received, how much you used, and there must be books for that. You know, candidate attorneys, before they become attorneys, even these trust fidelity certificate holding advocates, they write a paper called bookkeeping. And the reason for that is because they will then do a lot of things. They will teach them how to move money from it. It's literally part of what an attorney needs to know prior to them practicing in a law firm or anything. You need to know how to move money from a trust account into your own personal account. How does your law firm generate money? For what purposes?
Thank you, Mutusi.
I think, Pratini, it is like owning a company. Many people register companies and open business accounts, deposit money there, and then at the end of the day, they just go and withdraw that money as if it's theirs.
Yes.
That money is not theirs because if they want to pay themselves salaries, it must be it must reflect to say what are you really paying for, what are you buying, so that you can be able to reconcile your financial statements. Because if you just put the money there, sales money, and you go withdraw all of it as if it's yours, it's not yours. So thanks, Muthusi, for clarifying that, my friend.
And now something interesting is going to happen.
You find sorry, Pradeni, if a person is owning a stationary company, for an example, but you look into their business account, you find that they were at Konka, swiping there with a business card. hey guys, there's no stationery at Konka. What were you swiping? Were you buying the tills? The other issue that I wanted to comment on was the issue of, attorneys do silly mistakes like this one. This is really a very dangerous mistake that my brother my learned friend engaged himself into. And I really hope that the people who saw these things are black, and they are black conscious enough not to raise this thing with the Legal Practice Council, because if they do, then we are in trouble. I hope this account or this video somehow just disappears into thin air and nobody knows about it. But well, if he knows what he's doing, then it's fine. He can continue with that. The other issue that I wanted to comment on was, when Sis Brenda started speaking today, she said, why would you go and write your learners at Gauteng coming from KZN? I'm originally from the Northwest, Bradin.
Yes.
I wrote my learner's license in Florida. I woke up at 4 a.m. To drive. Okay, I was driven because I didn't have a car then. Let me not start saying I was driving to Florida. Sorry?
But let me expose.
Yes, somebody was driving me to Florida to go and write a learner's license. And then after that, I wanted to do my license in the same place, but I failed badly. So I then went to Forgeville. That's how I know about Forgeville. I ended up going to Forgeville, and that's where I got it. So my qualifications as a driver were obtained in Gauteng province, but I don't stay there. And the addresses that are there would show that I do not stay there. I just went to write there.
Which address did you use?
No, the Northern Cape addresses, of course. Although they were like, but why so far? Why do you come all the way? And then, it was people who were irrelevant. I didn't answer either one of them. I also wanted to talk about the red herring that the red herring that all these attorneys fell for. They didn't look at, or they didn't listen when Baloi said, the reason why I am calling this guy, it's for phone numbers. Nothing else but phone numbers. I'm coming to show you that these people were indeed the owners of these cell numbers, because remember, when Colonel Stein testified, he said these people were using these numbers to communicate with each other. Now the information that came, that was coming from the But I'm gonna have to come back, né?
Okay.
Yes, and to finish on Muthusi's point, Pradeni, during staying,
Yes.
it was never challenged that number doesn't belong to accused number 5.
Yes.
Even here, it was never put that this number doesn't belong to number 5, like Ngumalo did.
Yes.
So, but some questions were asked. The reality is, as it stands, it has never been challenged. That number was provided by accused number 5, and it belongs to him. And there is going to be an evidence that support that later on, brother. This is one of those. Prison records are going to still be submitted to say when this guy was arrested, this is the number that he gave.
Yes.
Simple as that. Thank you.
Now, as I was saying earlier, something interesting is going to happen about this attorney who's giving out his banking details. And to the 947 people on this live at this point in time, please be witnesses. People have been asking questions all over social media that is this allowed that Ngomezulu is doing fundraising in public. Now, the Legal Practice Council may come to a point where they ask Ngomezulu to account, to explain himself. We're not saying they are going to find him guilty, but there will come a time where he's going to be asked to explain himself, to account for what he's doing. And when that time comes, he's going to be blamed on Gininda. When that time comes, he's going to be blamed on Blesser. When that time comes, he's going to be blamed on official minister, Baloi, and everybody else except the man who created this mess himself. People are going to come and say it's because he was winning. Since he came into the Senzo trial, he's exposed things to all the people who are currently on this live at this point in time. Remember this. We told you that there may come a time when Ngomezulu has to account for all these actions. He told us that he got financial instructions from Muzisivia's uncle. Now he's getting instructions from social media, financial instructions from social media. There will come a time where he will have to account, and people will come up with all sorts of stories and conspiracy theories, and they will want us to entertain them, and we won't, unfortunately. Mutusi went out. Okay, guys, let's proceed. Brenda, is there anybody on the queue? And thank you for 411,000 likes, guys. Thank you.
No, Bradeni.
Yes.
No.
Are you saying something, Brenda?
I'm saying we don't have anyone, Brady.
All right, guys, today was a short day, so if there isn't anybody to come on the panel, we can call it a day. The trial has gone on recess officially, so we will be coming live on certain days. We're not gonna be here every day, but if there are things that dictates that we come here every day, we can do that. But if there's nothing, we will only come to the live when there is a need. There are other cases, I think, that may keep us busy. I think the AKA matter might still be proceeding, so we will shift our attention. We will give it our full attention, and And yes, Tiloti, this ANC versus IEC, I thought the judgment was going to be delivered today, but it didn't happen. There's the Speaker of Parliament, Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula, who is about to be arrested. I'm still going to try and catch up with that case as soon as we are done here, because they argued up until late in the afternoon. So there's a lot of interesting things that are happening. Elections are coming on the 29th of May. There's a lot of hot campaigning that is going on. There's a lot of polls that are saying ANC is going to drop to 41%. They are saying KZN it's so worse that they are only going to get 11% of the vote. The new MK party will get 40%. So there's a lot of interesting things that are happening that we can deal with while the Senzo Meyiwa trial is on recess. Marcus Joost as well, apparently he killed himself after he was hit with $500 million fine that he was supposed to pay. Initially, when I heard that, I asked myself, is this another Gavin Watson theory? But I think it was clarified that he shot himself while the police were about to arrest him. So it looks like indeed he did shoot himself. So we will be following all these things and coming to life if it's necessary. Cosmo is saying, Bradeni, please spend time with family, wife, partner, and or kids. Point taken, Cosmo. When we get time, we try to do all those that you are mentioning. So point taken. I hope it's not coming from a bad place. Official Minister, do you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say, when Baloi says a company asked to our office, in that office, Bradeni, there is a drawer. Inside that drawer, there is case 375.
Yes.
It is put in that shelf because there is nowhere, if you follow evidence where Baloi said, we will prosecute this case when we are done, or we will prosecute this case after this case. Baloi said, we will ask for the original docket, study it, and then look what is inside it, and then make a decision.
Yes.
The judge asked, are we going to see this in one of the courts here in Pretoria? Well, he said, we will study it. I can't say that because we will need to study it and find what is inside it. But we can tell you there is no murder weapon in that.
Yes.
There is no ballistic report in that case.
Yes.
All what is in that case is that in count 1, which is murder, it says the accused who acted as perpetrators or accomplice or accessory after the fact unlawfully and intentionally killed Senzo Meyiwa by shooting him. That is count number 1, Bradeni. They are charging all of them.
Yes.
On count number 2, it says accused 1 to 6, they hatched a plan and informed police that they were robbed at gunpoint by unknown person. It says so because it doesn't believe there are people who entered into the house. But we know, based on the evidence led, that there were people who entered into the house. And under count 2 is defeating the end of justice, but in that point that I read is under defeating the ends of justice. And the second point there is accused 7, who is Meki Piri, cleaned the crime scene prior to the arrival of the police. So she's also charged there as well.
Yes.
But there is no anything, forensic report. There is no cell phone analysis in that docket. No ballistic report. but we are told that that case will resolve the matter of Senzo Meiwa in the absence of those things. Sithule nje siyabuka sithi kwenze njani madoda. But anyway, Baloi, after this case, he will look into that, but I think he will only look into that case after they are done with the mastermind. But then there is something interesting that I've shared from Kehla Sithole. Kehla Sithole said they are close to the mastermind. They are going to close this case by bringing the mastermind to book. As it stands, it's only one, but there might be more than one. And says, yes, the mastermind was in that room. And the mastermind followed a particular modus operandi to evade arrest. Let's tell you what modus operandi the mastermind followed. Remember, after the cell phone records were downloaded as the request by Colonel Misleading, who did excellent job by making sure that cell phones are collected on the same day. Download happened. Those phones were collected by midnight and then they were downloaded early in the morning. The download was done. Just as the downloader of those cell phones, Mushwana, was about to call Misleading to say, Misleading, I'm done. Certain sergeants comes in and said, with the instruction of Brigadier Ndlovu, I am told to come and collect this. We never heard of Colonel Misleading. We never had a cell phone report, Bradin. The only report we get is that was done, the one that was done by Stein. We missed a lot with regards to data because we would have requested back then Section 205 of the person who made the call to Kelly.
Yes.
To find out how many times did they call or what numbers did they call. But that evidence disappeared. Is this the modus operandi that Kehla Sithole was talking about, that there were people who wanted this case not to proceed? Where is Brigadier Ndlovu from? He's from Foslora. So we must ask the question to say, we wish Brigadier Ndlovu was here to tell us what happens after he took this particular data, because we never get to hear the report.
Yes.
What did Musia say? Musia said when he left the crime scene, he also left Brigadier Ndlovu there.
Yes.
What did he do? Was he just there looking at the scene? Nothing else. We don't know. But we hear he made an affidavit. It was never read in court, but it is clear from the former police commissioner that there were people who went all the way to make sure that this case doesn't find its way in court. But the question is, who are those?
Yes.
With the limited information that we know, we should ask what happened to that cell phone data. Why was it not analyzed if it was taken in good spirit? We still don't know. We ask those questions. You can come and try do red herring and say Sithole himself is a questionable character, he's fired and all that. It doesn't really matter. He established the cold case unit. It investigated. We are not talking about his corruption. We can open live and talk about his corruption. Let's talk about what he did for this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Official Minister. Mutusi, you were completing something before you got cut, and then we'll come to you, Coach.
No, you that thing, I'm not going to say it anymore. Because Official Minister actually completed it nicely for me. The issue, the one last thing that I wanted to speak about was the recess. I've learned the importance of recess over this weekend, because I had an opportunity to to listen to these cases that Judge Mlambo brought against the judges in Gauteng.
Yes.
Judge Tusi, and this one, Chifuwa Baumel.
Yes.
As well as the other one, I think is Makubela. I listened to them. And when Judge Mlambo spoke about recess, he said the importance of recess is for a judge to catch up on admin. When they are on recess, they are not staying at home doing nothing. When they are on recess, they catch up on outstanding judgments. They write everything else that they need to write. They do what in this group is called sanitizing. Now, in this life, that's how it's called. They call clean up, sanitize, and make sure that all is good. This recess is not meant for the legal practitioners of accused number 1 to 5 to go and get new clients and start doing bail applications in the meantime when they are on recess. It is meant for them to read notes, to take fresh instructions, to confirm the instructions that they have, and I hope they are going to use it wisely, so that when we come back, we reach the target that you have set of finalizing this matter before June or before the end of June. Because if they can do that, I believe the way I'm looking at Nisi right now, he's so dejected. That guy is at a point of saying, can we just make 220 admissions and close this thing? He's going towards that, saying, can we have a separate deal when it comes to my client? Because now I'm tired. I've tried to poke loopholes everywhere. You guys are closing everything that I'm trying to do. And maybe it will not be Mnisi alone, it will be others. We are hopeful that this matter would be finalized before June, and that is the way that they can take. And unfortunately, whether that will reduce their sentences or not, then it's going to be a problem. Yes. Endler says they may consult. They're not going to do that. They're going to consult in court. Yeah, that would be a shame. Unfortunately, that's what happens. It would be very embarrassing and it would be a shame. But let's hope for the best, guys. Let's hope that this time will be used wisely to prepare so that when we come back, we are properly entertained.
Yes.
My final point that I wanted to make, Marcus Joster is alive. Thank you very much. Good night.
You're leaving us with a bomb, Mutusi. Especially after I said, I'm convinced that he's dead. Now you sending me back to my drawing board to go and rethink what I just said.
He's not the only one where this thing happened. But then, it's just that it's a pity we are not using Venek here.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, these people are really afraid of jail. They don't mind, you know which people I'm talking about.
Yes.
They don't mind relocating. They can go and stay in Dubai to avoid going to prison. They can go and stay in a country where there's no extradition grounds and literally reinvent themselves. One of them is our lovely comrade who used to sponsor the ANC very well.
Yes.
Ever since he was exposed by Agrisi, the ANC started having financial problems left, right, and center. I realized actually Bosasa was holding the ANC alive. Kevin Watson. He's alive, that guy. Brother, let me tell you something. When people are dead, when we go to the scene and we're told people are dead, you know what you get? You get a corpse there covered with foil.
Yes.
Where is that one for Marcus Jost? We saw AKA's face.
Yes.
We when people die, that's what you see.
Yes.
In Marcus Jost, in Kevin Watson, in a whole lot of them, we're told Osama bin Laden. We're told, no, this person is dead, but where is the body? Somebody was like, okay, before the funeral, we're going to open the casket just to make sure it's him. You will be told, this person is Marcus Joste. You'll be told, hey, this person is a Muslim. They got buried the day after. Actually, they were not buried. Muslims, they were actually cremated. Muslims don't even cremate.
Yeah.
But they will tell you, hey, they were cremated and what. So I'm standing at my point. He's alive. It is a conspiracy theory, but that's where, brother, from here, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to listen. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, Mutusi.
Mutusi, but there was someone who was interviewed. I don't know if you saw that, brother. While they were standing, I think it was next to a cave or something, where there was even a guy who says, like he was talking as if, like, he was standing beside him and said the guy was lying in a pool of blood. So they couldn't. They had.
He said he's not saying anything else. I'm saying Mutusi said he's not going to say anything else. I'm his spokesperson.
So they were fooling us. Okay.
Cash, we'll follow these things, Brenda.
We'll follow,
because my first instinct as well when I heard this, I was like, no, the guy skipped the country, is chilling somewhere else, watching his death and funeral on the screens. But when they said he shot himself by the beach, my perspective changed a little bit. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe sometime next week we can have a chat about this, having collected sufficient information.
And Bradeni, I think maybe while we're still waiting, we can maybe look at this case here. Is it Mapisa Ngakula?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had the argument. Hey, Bradeni, it was ridiculous. I don't know how are these people saying Ngakula will be, humiliated if she gets arrested. They're talking a lot of things, Bradeni, that doesn't make sense. I mean, why should she be, higher than anyone, Bradeni? It doesn't make sense.
Brenda.
Yeah, bo.
We are not waiting. There is coach.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so there is coach on the line. He has been holding.
And he's so quiet. Sorry, coach.
Good evening, guys.
Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, my brother.
I'm just going to repeat what I said, I think, 8 months ago.
Yes.
On the issue official,
Coach has been holding.
All I'm trying to say, Bradeni, I told you, it's not everyone a kgonang go kgobokanya batho, especially go kgobokanya batho ba bantšhi. Today, man of the match, it's not even that witness. That witness we know. Mutusi, I think he has opened everyone. I think everyone will go home advising, from different departments. Actually, he was not only talking about Mgomezu. I think he was talking about each and every one of us here where we're working. No matter how hard it is, how difficult it is, don't act desperate, because desperation will throw you under the bus. We've seen people, being arrested at work, embarrassed because of desperation. So I think this show today was more informative and eye-opener to everyone who's on the show. So, repeating, what's that gentleman again? Mutusi.
Yes.
Mutusi's words. Let's not act desperate in everywhere we go, everywhere we work.
Yes.
Let's just be patient. Let's just be patient, because if you're patient, you will save lots and lots of problems. The thing of Ngomezulu, I saw it. I was so disappointed. I said, this man now is throwing himself under the bus and he's going to blame other people. I just hope the men above will protect this man, because you can see, man, even his face, that is not going well for him. It's those people that they need prayers. In closing, I'm just saying thanks to Mutuzi, thanks to you, Bradeni. People are coming here, although we've got different views, but we're going home with lots and lots of things. You know, we are achieving a lot by just listening to knowledgeable people here, because you'll never know everything in life.
Yes.
All I'm asking, you can see you've got people. God has given you to have people. I'm asking you, be patient. You live in the country. Be patient. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach. All right, guys. I think we've got 2 more people on the queue. Let's see if they want to say something or they requested by mistake. Kodos. Kodos, can you hear me? Please unmute your microphone if you can. Okay, I think Kodos cannot hear me, or there's something. Let's quickly go back to me too.
Thank you, Pradeni. When I spoke earlier, I just forgot to mention this thing that I think it was the official minister, Mutusi, one of them just mentioned it, you know, that, so I think Mutusi was saying this, who's this, Mnisi, could wish to make some form of a deal or something so that this thing is over. But I've also realized that since the introduction of Mngomezulu and the way they were going about the trial, where when a witness is called, even though the witness might not be like incriminating some of the accused, but the other lawyers felt a need to ask questions to that witness.
Yes.
And in some instances, just imagine that like the example I gave earlier about Mshololo, like incriminating her own client. Just imagine if she had done that to Mnesi's client because of the kind of questions that she's asking the accused, you know, not the accused, the witnesses, you know. And I think they've sat down and decided to say, you know what, guys, everyone is now going to represent their own client. If the witness does not incriminate your client, you don't ask questions.
Yes.
I think that's the deal, because hence you saw Numalo stood up today because his client was implicated by the testimony of this this Matlou guy, you know. And that thing, it wasted a lot of cost time, because even irrelevant questions, you know. But now, because they fought, now you could see, like, when it was Moses' turn, it was only Mngomezulu who was asking questions. And Ramusepil will ask 2, or because he previously represented Ndanzi and Muzi. but he doesn't ask questions relating to 3, 4, and 5, because that has got nothing to do with him.
Yes.
You know, if they had carried on from the beginning like this, I think that date of June and whatever of this case being concluded, like if you have said, I can't remember if it was you or the official minister. I think that could have been a reliable date, you know. But they wasted a lot of course time, those guys, you know. And that testimony again, Bradeni, regarding these traffic department officials, there are people who are going to get arrested here. Because you had your witness saying, no, this is something that must be followed up. If you are saying this guy was in Boksburg prison, because according to our records, the guy went to Nongo traffic department and did this transaction. And you could see which official did that change on the system. And he says, no, the information must be in the file. And when the person did the transaction, they should have went there, produced an ID document to say, I'm this person, I want to do this transaction. How did it happen? If it's either the lawyer was lying, the guy was not arrested, or he's telling the truth. But also, I think even on this live, Bradeni, there might be public officials. Please, guys, it is important to do your jobs diligently. Diligently. Now, we might have murderers going free because you took 100 rand. Not to ask for an ID of the person who was doing a change on the system, who was doing a change on the transaction, changing their addresses and whatever. You took only 100 rand. Someone lost their lives, and his killers might got away with it because you took 100 rand. You know, and please, guys, thank you, Bradin.
Thank you, me too. All right, guys, SH is going to be our last speaker for the evening. We are currently sitting on 480,000 likes. I see people are saying we should close with 500,000. I'm sure we can achieve that in less than a minute as we listen to SH's questions. SH, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Yebo.
Yebo. Number 4. When was he arrested?
According to his lawyer, he was arrested on I think 27th of November, 2014.
So, how come he knows that that phone number belonged to his friend? Is he telling us that he knows the number by heart?
Yeah, you are asking a very important question there.
Because I have people on my phone, I do not know their numbers.
I don't know Brenda's number as well. I don't know official's number by heart. And it will get surprising if 10 years later I say, no, that's not my number, it's official's number.
I find it unbelievable.
You are cooking, you are cooking.
Yeah, because, why would I go to traffic department and I give traffic department my ID number, my name, then a phone number of a friend?
Yeah.
According to me, that number belongs to him.
Yes.
He is lying, according to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we'll see. We'll see how the judge deals with that.
Okay.
Thank you, SH. And thank you guys, we've just hit 500,000 likes, just like that.
We've reached 500. Now we can close Pradeni. Pradeni.
Yes.
Ukinindalo, avamaziyo, avazange vamu, You know what's happening now, Pradeni?
Yes.
Kininda usenongoma. People think people like Kininda, they sleep. They are looking for those files, Pradeni.
Yes.
They are looking for the signatures.
Yes.
Who signed, who completed those files. Whoever did that, hey, I don't know in Zulu hebare disatlo batini pratini, you'll translate. Zizazokhala, something to that. Yes, eskanzima mfowethu. Because an inquiry must be initiated. Now, let's initiate and collect that evidence and see who completed it. Because we are doing this in the interest of justice, Pradeni.
Yes.
Who completed it? Whose number is it? Who was it belonging to at that point in time? And then, so that we can understand to say the poor guy was arrested in November that year after the killing of less than a month, in fact, after the killing of Meiwa. So who did that? And we need answers. Hopefully they bring that before court and then share it with everyone so that we can clarify.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting, but let's go on recess and then do catch up. Those who missed certain evidence, let's do catch up, guys, so that when we come here, we are not stating things that are not before court. Judge Rata is going to summarize evidence because they want it close. So I agree with Muthusi and who's that? Me too.
Yes.
Guys, the fact that Munisi is not running with the ballistic evidence